Wow. It's been a long time. Hello, anyone who's ever clicked on this video or who's clicked on this video. Um, you don't know me. I think all of my content has been scrubbed from the internet a long time ago. My name is Andrew Heilman. As long as I can remember, I've always wanted to be successful on YouTube, and particularly in the Minecraft Let's Play space. I tried really hard around 8-9 years ago, and I didn't get anywhere with it. I was so ashamed of failing that I quit several times. And I'm just posting this now as kind of like a retrospective of the last, borderline decade of where my life's been from where I started this channel and the several channels before, and what I'm going through and what my life looks like while playing. I thought that my favorite game of all time was Cuphead. But I think my actual favorite game of all time is Sky Factory. And I say game, even though, one might say that means that my favorite game of all time is Minecraft. But I've never been a huge fan of Minecraft. Minecraft Survival, Minecraft PvP, Minecraft Multiplayer. It's never been my strong suit, and it's never been my favorite kind of gameplay. With the exception of the mod pack Sky Factory, and specifically the original older versions of Sky Factory. It's always been my absolute favorite, and I thought I could play that and kind of just talk and share. This is my first let's play game in a while. I started a separate streaming career for about 4 or 5 months under a new Minecraft name, and this is my original channel that I tried starting my my let's play career on, not counting my other one I tried running about 5 or 6 months back that I stopped because I lost the time to do it. And we'll get into that and everything. But yeah, if you want to stick around, by all means, stick around. If not, this is a safe place for you to stay and comment down below your experiences with this game and everything. And, if you don't want to be here, you don't have to be here. All right. I haven't had to do this in a long time. I'll call it... I always called my worlds hone. I don't know why. There's just a silly way of spelling home. But I'll just call it retro, because this game is retro. I guess we can start with a little bit of history about me. I can also just talk about the game. We started in an ocean. In the bottom left, you can see that my biome is ocean, but the best biome to start in is plains, because you have a better future access of getting animals and all sorts of stuff. But I guess we're in an oceans biome. And if you guys have never heard of Sky Factory, I imagine most of you do. It's a very old game. But if you guys ever played Skyblock, the Minecraft map, it was basically how to beat the Ender Dragon. It was a vanilla version of Minecraft where you started in a void and you had to find a way to beat the Ender Dragon starting from a tree. But in Sky Factory, it's Skyblock but with mods, and it's much more compelling to me than Skyblock because it just has a lot more moving parts to it. And you start with a tree, so I'll go down here. But yeah, a little bit of history about me. My name is Andrew Heilman. Like I said, I've been homeschooled my entire life. I'm turning 20 in a few months here, and man, my life has been a crazy roller coaster of privilege and opportunities and all sorts of stuff that I in no way deserve. My love for Minecraft really came from my lack of television, because I grew up in a relatively low-income household. I mean, we made a lower middle class income, but I have 7 siblings, so just the expenses from a family of 7/9, those alone were, more than what most people were spending. So we weren't poor, but our lifestyle, our expenses were way more than most people's expenses. So I think it leveled it out to upper lower class, um, lower middle class sort of area. All that to say, our expenses in how you start this game is you get a sapling, and thankfully I had a sapling before. I couldn't get any of them left, but you put down your sapling down on the tree that you started on, and then you shift click. My favorite quote unquote television show, Sunday, they would always call it twerking, which I always thought was really silly. But yeah, I never grew up watching cable. I never grew up watching like network television or any of that stuff. So I had to mostly watch free channels like PBS Kids and stuff like that. But I always preferred YouTube. And I account YouTube to being kind of like my Hollywood, or the Hollywood of my generation. Everyone was on YouTube from what I remembered. That's all my friends ever talked about. That's all, you know, people talk about that shift in the world. At least I always think about that shift where you had a good solid, 50, 60 years of little boys and little girls wanting to grow up and take certain occupations, like I want to be a nurse, or I want to be a doctor, or I want to be a cab driver or whatever. And then, that shifted in like 2014, 2015, 2016, where everyone wanted to be a YouTuber once being a YouTuber became a viable career, where a lot of people were making money. And that's kind of the negative opinion a lot of OG YouTubers have of YouTube in its current state, is how when they started their YouTube channels, and OG started their YouTube channels really early on, they were really only concerned about making content that was fun, and they enjoyed. And now people are looking to YouTube as an actual viable career, and then you have corporations using it as like an endless free marketing funnel and all sorts of stuff that makes YouTube a lot more corporate than it originally was. And I definitely understand that, because I grew up in a very, it was the golden era, the golden age of Minecraft. Yeah, YouTube Let's Plays from like 2011 to 2016. Before you had like the Dream SMP wave and the PewDiePie playing Minecraft wave again. And I don't know. I'm rewatching Sunday's Sky Factory series, and with my little sister. She's 8 years old. She's about the same age that I was when I watched it for the first time. And it's made me want to come back and play the game, and come back and play Minecraft in general, and just not really lament, but think about my life and think about this game and that community and how it affected me, and try to think about it a little bit more. Since then, I mean, I guess I can just go through a whole history of my life to kind of give sense to my career throws and everything. Let's see, I started this channel in 2018. I would have been 12 years old. Around that time, my family was going through some pretty hard financial troubles. My dad's been a entrepreneur, salesman for his entire career, and that's not exactly the most viable career, especially with 7 children. And when he and my mom had my littlest sister, Shaughnessy, it kind of put a hold on my life and a lot of my siblings' lives. And I lost my friend group. Since I was homeschooled, I only really had a certain friend group in extracurricular activities, one of them being a theater school that I attended a few months out of the year every year to do their performance of The Nutcracker. And I only saw those guys, once a week, 3 months out of the year, and those guys were my only friends, really, because I had a limited amount of exposure to kids, my age especially, and I was an extrovert growing up as a kid. I'm more of an ambivert now, but I was a huge extrovert. I loved being around people. I loved talking to people. I loved talking in general. And I went through a big friendship breakup when I was around 12, 13 that completely changed and altered my personality. because when I was cut off from my friend group, when I stopped going to the extracurriculars because my family couldn't afford it, I resulted to having those friendships online through specifically Snapchat group chats, and it's kind of poisoned. I love this game's music so much. It poisoned talking over text for me for like the rest of my life, pretty much, because I lost all of those friendships by basically being too needy, talking over text 24/7 and telling them, where are you guys? Why won't you talk to me? Just being really annoying, that kind of stuff. And I basically just pushed everyone away, and it really made me really self-conscious, and I never looked at myself very highly ever again. And, I was always striving to be better and to pursue things that I thought were interesting because my parents had taught me that was a valuable thing. So I had that drive in me before I kind of was crushed out of all of my self-righteous ambitions. I always had that drive to try to do things that I thought were interesting. So I tried starting that YouTube channel, and I had started other YouTube channels before. I had tried to be an animator for a little bit, and I tried to find the first original animation that I ever made, the first YouTube video I ever made, to no avail. I remember what it was. It was a Han Solo Star Wars spin-off animation, and I made it in like 2014, I want to say, but I think I've deleted it or something happened to it. I've deleted most of the content that I've made, especially on this channel and other channels, which I lament now, but I was so angry with myself that I had to get rid of the content, and it was the most necessary thing I could do at that time. But I went through that crazy breakup with all of my friends and all my friend group, and completely altered my personality, some for the better, some for the worse. Like I've never gotten over my self-hate, which is for the worse, but for the best. I mean, I've learned how to control my emotions pretty much, and control how I talk to people and how I listen to people, and that's been a good experience so far. But yeah, I went through that at like 12, 13, which I think a lot of people go through. I think a lot of people go through a period of just, teenage years are just horrible in general, but I feel like that's bred for all sorts of hormonal and emotional outbursts of all sorts of stuff. But yeah, that was not a good time for me. But I got over that eventually. I joined my church in 2019, and then COVID happened, which COVID put me on another trajectory, a separate trajectory for insanity. I absolutely despised everything about COVID. In fact, it's probably the worst thing I've ever experienced. Like, I'd say that the worst moment of my life was leaving that friend group, which is a really privileged thing to say. But, that's the worst thing that has ever happened to me. But a close second is going through the lockdowns, especially being a Californian citizen my entire life, because we got the lockdowns. We were the first ones in and the last ones out, pretty much, with the lockdown. We got it horrible. In fact, I got to a point where I was kind of losing my mind. I could feel myself kind of losing my mind around summertime. The lockdown, for those of you who don't know, or for the future, the coronavirus outbreak caused the government to launch a statewide shutdown. Some states got out earlier than others. My state didn't. My state is my state wasn't able to get over the fear of the virus. I'll just put it that way. And we were locked down for a long, long, long time. And I was starting to feel it by July, when most states were starting to open up again, specifically Midwestern states. And in July, I thankfully had a vacation with my family where we went to Idaho, which was an open state pretty much from the lockdown. And that just like absolutely saved my life because I'm probably being overdramatic, but I was feeling it. I was feeling like, oh my gosh, I need to go to a restaurant again. I need to feel normal again. So that happened. In the meantime, since I last posted a video on this channel, I started a career in the film industry, film and media industry. I'm trying to pursue a career in the film industry right now, but my in. Everyone talks about having an in, and my in has been the media industry, specifically volunteered media from my church. And people can say what they want about churches, but I thank whatever spiritual entity anyone wants to put it to, every day for my ability to find the thing that I enjoy doing the most in my life, which is right now camera operating. I got to find an opportunity to do that at 14, volunteering for my church. And I was completely emotionally just wrecked from so many things, the things that I've mentioned, plus a few others, like my relationship with my dad and all sorts of stuff. And, the church offered me an in to that industry that I always wanted to be a part of. So I started doing that, and I did that for, gosh, I joined after the lockdown. I joined the staff in February 2021, so that would have been over 5 years ago. And 5 years later, I've started my own media and film production company. It's freelanced work, but I started that in February of this year with the knowledge that I had been given from all of my mentors in the media department at my church. I'm sorry if my voice keeps cracking. I swear I'm not 11 years old. It's just I'm really tired, and it's like 2 a.m. here. And I haven't drinking any water because I don't drink water, which I should probably change. But yeah, and I mentioned in the preface of this video that I've always loved this game, but I've never been a good gamer, ever. Like the best I was ever at in a game was probably Fortnite, a few years ago when I got a 22 kill solos game, which I was pretty proud of. But I've never been good at games. I've always tried, but I think I have some sort of autism or ADHD or dyslexia or something because I have like I have a retention problem, which is probably the same problem a lot of people my age and my generation have. But not necessarily retention. What do you call it? I have a retaining problem, which I guess retention could be used for that word, but I have a hard time retaining information. So like I'll learn how to do something and then I'll forget it the next day. And that's not a good thing to have in my experience with school, having gone to college now for a few semesters, trying to do school for film school. And, I have a bit of it's not a speech impediment, but I don't know. I'm done complaining about myself. As I continue to complain about myself. But yeah, I've always loved this game. Never been great at it. That's why I love Sky Factory, because it's not really a skill-based game. It's very slow-paced. It's very calm. It's almost like Animal Crossing in a way. From what I've heard about Animal Crossing, I've never actually played Animal Crossing, but I have family members who've played the game. What else has happened? So, yeah, I've started a production company since February. I started my career as a camera operator first and foremost. Yeah, and I was rewatching Sunday, which everyone talks about having their own favorite content creator that they watched growing up, like their favorite Minecraft creator. This is very uneven. My favorite content creator growing up, and again, it's like basically my favorite television show growing up because they didn't have TV, was Sunday. I couldn't tell you why exactly, um, but I'm trying to figure out the reasons why. Not rewatching this series he did with my little sister. I know I watched him because I was introduced to him by my older brothers, I believe, who were each like, I think. See, I was born in 06. My eldest brother Jerry was born in 97, so he's 9 years older than me. My brother Joe was born in 2000, so he's 6 years older than me. I never related to my older brothers in a important way growing up because they were always so much older than me, hanging out with their own groups of friends and stuff. But they did introduce me to a few important things, and one of them was Sunday, who, I mean, I'm crying, like, rewatching all of his old videos. Because it's like he was my comfort while I was going through whatever I was going through at the time. And, you know, I've looked at his new stuff, and it's really just not the same. And a lot of his current fans are going to flame me for that, but look, man, he's not the same. He was edgy. He was actually, I thought he was more genuine. He played more interesting games with more interesting people than he is now. And, you know, he's gone through his own crazy stuff with his divorce, and then getting back with Madeline, and then divorcing her again, or not divorcing her again, but separating with her and then getting back with her again, and having multiple kids. So I don't blame the change that he's undergone, but he's definitely prioritized a new form of content that I'm not a huge fan of. His new form of content gets more viewership, or it used to a few years ago when he was doing his Among Us stuff, but it's really not the same. And, you know, it's the same thing with Rhett and Link. I used to be a huge Rhett and Link GMM fan, grew up watching them. They were like my second favorite, basically, TV show growing up. And then they're different now in ways that I won't get too deep into in my own personal opinions. But, you know, I look at YouTube, and I look at, you know, I've thought about writing a biography about YouTube. And I don't know exactly what specific I want to talk about or want to write about and research about, because I just love YouTube that much. I don't know if I want to write about the history of YouTube in general, or if I want to write about the history of Minecraft on YouTube, or even writing like a Sunday biography or something like that. Just because that era from 2000, I didn't really watch early YouTube, OG YouTubers like Smosh and stuff. But I watched certainly the first wave of the Minecraft era. Well, maybe not the first wave. I didn't come to Sunday during the Team Crafted days. I came during the Sky Factory Craner days, which would have been like 2014, starting around there. But I'd love researching that. I keep watching like little mini documentaries. I don't know why that word was so hard for me to say. I keep watching little mini documentaries about Minecraft YouTubers, you know, where they've been, where they're going. And I don't know, it's just different. And I didn't watch the craze that Minecraft had in like 2020 with people like Dream and stuff. I did watch PewDiePie and Markiplier's Minecraft series that they did, but I didn't watch like the Dream SMP and the new era of Minecraft with Tommy in it and Dream and Sapnap and all these guys. I didn't watch their videos very much, just because I like modded Minecraft, and I like that modded Minecraft style from, you know, 2011 to 2016 with all these mods like Tinker's Construct and Ex Nihilio, and, you know, and I could only get that from rewatching old content. People had moved on from old modded Minecraft by that time. But Yeah, I think I'm gonna end this little video here. If this ends up being a worth my time venture to kind of just think and talk and try to start a little community after trying so hard so many times, then maybe I'll keep making them. But you know, like I said, I'm really hard on myself and I'm really unmotivated to do so many things. So if you guys could hit that like button down below or something, show me that my time is valuable to you guys, and vice versa. And maybe I'll think about doing something like this again. I've always wanted to be a Minecraft YouTuber. I've always wanted to try and inspire and, you know, be famous and all that kind of stuff. So hope I brought some things to your attention. We'll see you guys later. Adios.